Assalamu alaikum. So, when I was growing up, I attended a Hindu primary school simply because this was the school that was closest to where I lived. Fast forward to the present day, and proximity is not as huge a consideration in the decision as to where to send your children to school. Chances are other factors like prestige and tribe are bigger considerations these days. Prestige meaning you search out the best schools or the schools with the best reputations and you try to get your children enrolled there. Tribe meaning that if you're Muslim, you want your child to go to a Muslim school, but depending on the type of Muslim that you are, that may determine whether your child goes to a madrasa, an Astra school, a TIA school, or a TML school, and so on and so forth. But that in itself is not problematic, as in you're well within your right to make all of these decisions and to think about all of these things. However, it becomes problematic when all your child knows is just this one thing, as in your child went to Muslim preschool, primary school, secondary school. Their socialization was only through the masjid and maybe the youth group at the masjid, and whenever they attended a function, they always went to Muslim functions and socialized in Muslim circles and circuits, etc. And then somehow or the other, when they become young adults who have to venture out into the world, we expect that at the snap of a finger, and miraculously so, these children who have never interfaced or interacted with anybody who is different from them will be able to go out into the world and be able to assimilate seamlessly or be able to interact seamlessly. See, the problem is that human beings tend to fear what they do not understand. And this growing intolerance is largely responsible in Trinidad and Tobago and the world for the sharp increases that we have seen of late in the blatant, hidden, but also blatant instances of racism, bigotry, xenophobia, and other types of discrimination as well. So, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Well, here on Iftar Insights, we have tried to not just present the Muslim perspective at its core, but to also show other perspectives and give voice to different perspectives and different people. How have we done that? Well, I'll give you two examples. Last year, when we visited the different masjids, we tried to ensure that we visited not only Astra masjids or masjids of particular akidas, but spread it out and visit masjids that have different ways of operating and were willing to show different things. We ensured that when we went to all of the masjids, we presented what the masjid presented to us, as in we didn't go there with an agenda to show any particular thing. This is what they had at this masjid and this is what we showed. And we're trying to do the same this year as well, to ensure that our presenters are showing exactly what it is happens within their homes, what they believe, what they don't believe, what they practice, what they don't practice, what they want to talk about, as opposed to us asking them to talk about specific things. So an episode becomes an episode from that presenter that is free from bias or any sort of influence on our path. We want to present what they have to present. So this becomes merely the platform. And the second way we have tried to cultivate tolerance with this series is by ensuring that the series remains friendly to Muslims and non-Muslims alike. So last year, for instance, we tried to ensure that if we spoke with an ulama, a maulana or an imam, and they spoke about Islamic ideology, that we would ask follow-up questions to break those things down, those concepts and ideas down at a level where anybody, regardless of whether they were Muslim or not, could understand. And we also invited last year some non-Muslims to join us on the series, in particular when we visited the Londonville Masjid on Cemetery Street in Londonville, to come and break the fast with us and to pray with us. And then we chatted with them to get their perspective on their experience and to share their thoughts, etc. with us, their apprehensions, their fears, their new insights, and just share that with the world. This year is no exception. This year, we are about to present to you a gentleman whose lifelong mantra has been that of tolerance, or one that resonates with that word tolerance. He doesn't just seek out the similarities in people, but he actively appreciates and embraces the things that are different in different peoples. This gentleman is also someone who has had a great impact on my life. He trained me when I started at Gael well over a decade and some change ago. And he didn't just train me in terms of the media training, but just being around him, you learn a lot about life as well. And I was awestruck when I also found out as the years went by that he also fasts most years for Ramadan whenever he can. Today, I was finally able to get the story as to how it started, why he continued, why does he continue, what's in it for him, what does he derive from it, what benefit does he get, and so on and so forth. So today, we actually got the full scoop from Uncle Errol, aka Errol Fabien, as to how he sees, perceives, understands, appreciates, and practices Ramadan and things associated with Ramadan, even though he is not a Muslim. So without any further ado, please let us give a warm salam and welcome to Uncle Errol.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, good day to everyone. Howdy doody. Peace and love and blessings to you. My name is Errol Fabien. I am a daddy of 8. I am a recovering drug addict of 32 years and counting. I am a businessman, owner and operator of Gael, the Caribbean. I'm a stand-up comedian. I do some motivational speaking. I train people in media and stage performance art kind of thing. I do a lot. I'm a fix-it guy around the house. I build my own doors and beds and repair a lot of things around the house. I choke up in my car and different things, And I fast for the holy month of Ramadan. I first fasted in the 80s, 1980 something. I used to perform at a place called Rolls Royce Discotheque. It was owned by a couple, and the man, he was Muslim. His name wasn't on the bar license, but he is the one that I first knew who was fasting for Ramadan. I knew of it. Growing up in Trinidad, we know of all cultures and so on that dwell here. And he was getting ready for the fast, and he was talking about he'd be fasting and he wouldn't be able to do this or that or whatever it is, and he wasn't staying out too late because he was fasting. He will be fasting, so I thought, I fasting too. And it was very difficult and very beautiful and very powerful, and I cheated. I cheated a couple of times, and I didn't feel good. I felt as though I had no obligation to anybody. I decided I was doing it, but I felt I wanted to do it and do it right. And the next year, I fasted, and I think the very next year I fasted again, and then in and out from time to time, because then my own life took a turn with respect to drugging and that kind of thing, and it was in 1988 that I left a drug rehab center, and the very next Ramadan I fasted. And fasting for Ramadan is a very important thing for me. It is one of the things. One very basic thing is because I'm a public person, and I appear on stage and on television and things, I need to maintain a certain kind of a body, trimness, fitness, and look, in my mind. A lot of people don't consider that, but I consider it. I wear the same clothes now. I could put on a t-shirt or so that I would have owned 30 years ago. I could put it on normal, yeah? And that's important for me. And one of the things that keeps me in check is the holy month of Ramadan, because now I've moved into a place where I don't eat anything when I break fast or before I start fasting. I try to eat good food. When I say good food, I try to eat raw food, or as much raw food and plant-based food as possible during the time. All right? So Ramadan is very important for me in that respect. And that's on one level. Ramadan is very important to me for being a part of something that's bigger than me. My recovery program talks about a power greater than me. And the group is a power greater than me. And belonging to the group gives me a sense of belonging to something that is greater than I am. But also the group is doing this because of reverence for the Creator, reverence for Allah. And that too is bigger than me, I mean way bigger than me. So that perception of being a very small particle in the universe is a sense of myself that is very important for me. Again, because of the work that I'm involved in entertainment and so, it's easy for me to get a sense of the hype and not a sense of my truth, which is I am but a particle in the universe, you know. In the eyes of God, in the eyes of the Creator, I am almost nothing in terms of my existence. But what I can do to glorify and honor my Creator is very, very big. So the holy month of Ramadan helps me with that perspective of myself. You know, a lot of people tell me, "Boy, you're a humble boy," and this and that. But that's language to me. That's not real. What is real to me is that I am but a particle in this universe. I'm not even visible in this universe physically, but my works must be huger than life, and my work must last forever. My charity must be bigger than life, and my charity must go on forever. You know, what I impart must live forever, and how I live with people must be bigger than life and must go on forever. So that concept is brought home to me very fully in the holy month of Ramadan, especially when I feel discomfort, when I get hungry and I feel that discomfort, you know, I remember how human and how fragile my own life is, how delicate my own life is, how much I need to open my mouth and place food in it every day to continue to do my work. And during the holy month of Ramadan, when I abstain from putting food in whenever I feel hungry, you know, helps bring me to that place of understanding how dependent I am on that which is provided by my God. That which is provided by my God by way of speech, right? Because I speak to earn a living, and I speak a whole lot less if I'm not eating, and if I'm weak. And the holy month of Ramadan brings me to that place of reminding me how dependent I am on the gifts, the simple gift of speech that I have been given by my Creator. This simple gift, I depend on it for a living. I depend on it to be able to give charity. I depend on it to be a leader. I depend on it to be a follower. I depend on speech for my loved ones to know how I feel about them. I depend on speech in my campaign as a politician, that I want to talk to the masses about how I view things and how I see this country and this region, and for me to be able to impart to them, I use the gift, that very simple gift that we all have, the gift of speech. Well, of course, not all of us have that gift, but I embrace that gift and I'm thankful for it. The holy month of Ramadan also for me is like the ultimate in my personal relationship with my God. Whether outside of the month of Ramadan, whether I pray or not or whatever it is, I never ever feel the connection to God that I feel in silence in the holy month of Ramadan. There's a lot of silence and a lot of resting for me during the holy month of Ramadan. And without even engaging in conversations with my God, I feel the closeness and I feel the depth of my relationship with my God during the holy month of Ramadan. So it is a very, very important and very cherished time for me. So last year, in the month of May, and the holy month of Ramadan was in part during the month of May last year, that's 2019, I did not fast because I was to be married. I did become married. I was wed in May during the 9th month, the holy month of Ramadan last year, and I didn't fast. And I really, really missed it. And I really, really looked forward to this year. I really am looking forward so much to this Ramadan and to connecting with my God again in the way we connect during the month of Ramadan. And I missed it so very much. And let me tell you, there are a number of people in my life. Jamal Talib, who first introduced me to it back in the 80s, early 80s, I'm talking about like 1982, 83, somewhere around there. And through my life, I came across someone who I worked with, who is my friend, and his name is Ricky Latif. And Ricky, I look forward to being able to tell Ricky I fasted, or during the month of Ramadan to hail him out with a Ramadan Mubarak or a Ramadan Kareem. Ricky encourages me very much with respect to my prayer life and my life during the month of Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan. And other Muslim people I meet who I know have embraced Islam, I feel so good for them to know that I'm a part, I'm not the whole thing, but I'm a part, when it's coming up to Ramadan, that we reach out and touch and ask if they're ready and if they're okay. And I've never broken the fast in a mosque, but I will tell you, one year I arrived in Egypt on the day of Eid al-Fitr. I landed in Egypt one year on the day and saw and was a part of all of that celebration. And it's like 3 days of celebrations there, And there's so much camaraderie, so much celebration, so much coming together. Lanterns adorn all of the restaurants and all of the shops and everywhere. And it was a big celebration. And I felt so proud and so honored to be there and to share that part of their culture and celebrate that part of their culture with them. And that was great. But years before, I was in Egypt during the holy month of Ramadan. And it was very special for me because I stayed at a couple hotels, and I was part of a cruise along the Nile. I was there for 15 days, and all of it was during Ramadan. And in the restaurants and on the cruise, I'd ate with the staff because they didn't have meals ready for the rest of us, for the rest of the crew. We were on a tour of the rest of the tour. Meals weren't ready for the tour that early in the morning. So they would knock on my door, rap on my door early, and I would go down and have their meal with them before the fast. And then I would break fast with the group at regular dinner time. But that sharing of the meal before the fast, early in the morning with the Egyptian people who embraced Islam and people who lived that way, that was real special for me. I feel like a yayan. I feel like a brand new shilling those mornings when I sit with them. Big language barrier, couldn't speak a lot, we couldn't communicate a lot, but they knew I was fasting. So the hotel workers would wake me up early in the morning and I'd eat with them, and the people on the cruise ship would wake me up early in the morning and I would eat with them. So I have some very cherished memories during the holy month of Ramadan. And whether I'm traveling or not, no matter where in the world I am, I stick to my schedule where I started fasting, in this case in Trinidad. But if the sun is in the sky, I would wait for the sun to set before I break my fast. So, yeah. Ramadan is very, very important in my life. It's very near and very dear to me. And in this year, 2020, it's my back to fasting time this year, because I didn't fast last year, as I said. And this year I want to wish all of you, every one of you, a very happy and holy and a very productive and a very insightful holy month of Ramadan. I pray that what is on your heart and what is in your prayer during the month of Ramadan is in the heart of Almighty Allah for you. Because no matter what is in your heart for you, I don't want any of it for you unless it is in the heart of Allah for you. So all that you've prayed for and all that is in your heart during this holy month of Ramadan, I pray that if it is in Allah's heart for you, that it is bestowed on you and that you are able to embrace it. And that all that you want that is not in the heart of Allah for you, that you are spared it, because it will not be something that will be in your best interest in the time ahead of you. So that is my story about my romance with the holy month of Ramadan and my tenacity with it. And this is where I would leave you and wish you Ramadan Kareem.
And Ramadan Kareem to you and your family as well, Uncle Errol. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for viewing episode 18 of Iftar Insights Inside Edition. And as you would have seen, Uncle Errol is not just a master storyteller, he is also an amazing human being. And as we draw to the end of this episode, I wish you what he wishes for you. Everything that is good that Allah wants for you, and that Allah keeps away what is not good for you, inshallah. Until we meet again tomorrow, inshallah, join us for episode 19, where we will journey to Indonesia, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Mm-hmm.